They say, monsters don't always hide under your bed. Sometimes they make it for you. Lock the door and walk away. For 20 years, a man lived locked inside a room that smelled like rot and silence. Inside a house that stood shamelessly on a quiet street in Waterbury, Connecticut. It didn't look like a prison. It looked like any other old house, peeling paint, boarded windows, sagging porch. But behind those sealed windows was something no one imagined. Something so disturbing that even veteran police officers called it the worst treatment of a human being they'd ever seen. It wasn't a stranger who did it. It wasn't a serial killer. It was his stepmother, his own family. She kept him there trapped behind plywood walls and metal bolts from the time he was just 11 years old, till he turned 32. For over 2 decades, he didn't go outside. He didn't attend school. He didn't see the sky, didn't even have a name anymore. The world had forgotten him. But he hadn't forgotten the world. He counted the years by the way the walls decayed. He learned to measure time by footsteps, by locks clicking, by the soft thud of a sandwich sliding across the floor. 2 sandwiches a day, 2 small bottles of water. That's what he got for food, for bathing, for drinking, for staying alive. His bathroom was a system of plastic soda bottles he rigged together to catch his waste. His bed was a moldy twin mattress, stained with time and suffering. No television, no books, no mirror, no sound, but the humming of his own thoughts, and the creaking house that had become his coffin. And yet for all those years, no one knocked. No one asked. No one searched. He was pulled out of school. The system didn't follow up. His name vanished from rosters. Neighbors stopped seeing the boy in the window. Some forgot. Some never noticed. Some assumed he'd moved. The woman who held him captive, Kimberly Sullivan, played the role of a normal resident, a withered. Shopping, driving, smiling at neighbors, while upstairs, Oz, his father, the only other adult in the home, died years into his captivity. From that moment on, Kimberly controlled everything. Every bite he ate, every ounce of water, every locked minute of every locked day. The room was sealed from the outside with slide bolts, heavy, rusted, industrial bolts you'd use for a storage unit. He wasn't allowed out, not for holidays, not for birthdays, not for illness. And he got sick, so sick, his body shrank, its muscles wasted away. At 5'9", he weighed just 68 pounds when first responders found him. But it wasn't police that came knocking. It wasn't a social worker. It was a fire. One he started himself. On February 17, 2025, he decided to end it one way or another. He took hand sanitizer and printer paper, piled them near the corner of his room, and set them ablaze. Flames licked the plywood walls. Smoke rolled up the stairs. Neighbors finally noticed something was wrong. Firefighters burst into the house. If he burned, so be it. If he suffocated, fine. But if someone came, maybe he'd finally be free. They didn't know what they were walking into. Expected a standard smoke rescue, an old woman, maybe some pets. But they didn't expect him. Pale, trembling, barely breathing, curled up on the floor of that blackened box. He told them one thing: I set the fire. Fingers shaking, barely coherent. The police began to ask questions. I couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to be free. At one sentence, unraveled 2 decades of horror, he was rushed to the hospital where nurses said he looked like a concentration camp survivor. Every rib visible, that's when the house revealed its secrets. Every room was decaying. Mold on the walls, peeling wallpaper, animal waste, broken tiles. But that one room, the prisonette, was unmistakable. 8 by 9 feet. Bolts on the outside, food wrappers piled in corners. No exit. A funnel system made of old soda bottles. That wasn't shelter. That was psychological torture. Kimberly Sullivan was arrested within days. Her response? Denial. She said he wasn't locked in, that he was free to leave if he wanted, that she fed him and gave him a place to sleep. But police knew the truth. Locks didn't lie. Neither did the man who had finally escaped. The neighbors were horrified. Some had lived there for years. One said she thought Kimberly lived alone. The trial began in the summer of 2025. Prosecutors displayed crime scene photos: burned mattress, rotten food, soda bottle, toilet, locks carved into splintering wood. Another recalled hearing faint noises, muffled bangs, distant thuds, but brushed it off. None of them imagined there was a man slowly dying just feet away. The question haunted everyone. How does someone disappear for 20 years and no one notices? Then they played the hospital footage, him shirtless, skeletal, trembling, whispering that he hadn't been outside in 20 years. The jury went silent. Kimberly's defense team argued she was caring for a troubled stepson. He's learning to live again, how to speak freely, how to make choices, how to walk down the street without fear. She never meant to harm him. But the evidence crushed that narrative. In less than 2 hours, the jury returned a verdict. Guilty. Guilty of kidnapping. Guilty of assault. It's guilty of unlawful imprisonment. Kimberly Sullivan faces life behind bars. But the real story isn't hers. It's his. He's alive. He chose a new name. He still flinches at footsteps, still panics in tight spaces, but he's breathing fresh air now. In a written statement, he said, "When I lit that fire, I thought I was going to die. But I just wanted someone to know I existed. I was ready to burn just to be seen. This wasn't just captivity. It was erasure. A boy removed from the world and left to rot behind walls that no one questioned. The system failed him. The neighbors forgot him, but he didn't forget how to hope. And in the end, it wasn't the police, the courts, or the state that saved him. It was him. It was fire. It was the most desperate act a human being can make, the decision to die, just to be noticed. And because of it, he lived. For 20 years, no one opened the door, so we burned the whole house down." Concerns about the man's well-being reportedly arose when he was still a child. Former Barnard Elementary School principal Tom Pannoni and his team contacted the Connecticut Department of Children and Families at least 20 times years ago with concerns about their then-student, he told NBC Connecticut. The department recently said it found archive records related to the family. The department is currently reviewing them for purposes of assessing our work with the family over 20 years ago. The department previously told CNN it had no records related to the family, citing its policy is to expunge records 5 years after completing an investigation, provided there are no other substantiated reports. Before his stepmother pulled him out of school, the man told police he met with DCF officials twice when he was in the 4th grade. He told police his stepmother instructed him at the time to tell the department everything was fine. Police conducting the welfare checks also reported finding nothing suspicious. The last time he left the property was with his father, when he was about 14 or 15, he told police. After his father died in 2024, he said his captivity became even more restrictive. There's a lot of physical therapy that he'll have to go through, Waterbury Police Chief Fred Spagnolo said. There's a lot of healing that he'll have to go through mentally. Waterbury detectives, themselves shaken by the inhumanity they say they've been investigating, took up a collection to buy the man clothes, books, and other items that might make him more comfortable. As for the newly freed man, Waterbury Mayor Paul K. Pernareski said, "We're committed to supporting him in every way possible as he begins to heal from this unimaginable trauma."